You know what's genuinely disturbing? Your brain is working against you every single day to keep you from building wealth, and you probably have no idea it's happening. $200 a month, that's the number that separates people who retire broke from people who become millionaires. But when most people look at that number, their brain does something fascinating. It immediately starts generating reasons why it's impossible. And that automatic response is precisely what keeps the wealth gap expanding. Here's what nobody tells you about that $200. If you're 25 years old and you invest $200 every month in a basic index fund averaging 10% returns, you'll have over $1.3 million by the time you're 65. Not from some genius stock pick or crypto gamble. Just from doing something incredibly boring every single month for 40 years, the math isn't complicated. The execution shouldn't be either. So why does it feel absolutely impossible for most people? Your brain has a built-in mechanism that psychologists call present bias. Essentially, your mind values immediate rewards exponentially more than future benefits, even when the future benefits are objectively better. That $200 in your checking account right now feels real and spendable. The theoretical $1 million 4 decades from now might as well be monopoly money. Your brain literally cannot process future wealth the same way it processes money you can touch today. But there's something even more insidious happening: loss aversion. Studies show that humans feel the pain of losing something roughly twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. When you think about investing $200, your brain doesn't frame it as gaining future wealth. It frames it as losing $200 you have right now. That's a psychological penalty you're fighting before you even begin. And then there's the comparison trap that social media has turned into a full-time psychological assault. You're scrolling through Instagram, seeing people your age buying new cars, taking exotic vacations, living in apartments that cost more per month than you make in 2. Your brain sees this and concludes that everyone else has figured something out that you haven't. So that $200 suddenly needs to go toward keeping up, toward not falling further behind in some race you didn't know you were running. The person posting those vacation photos might be $30,000 in credit card debt, but your brain doesn't know that. It just knows you feel poor by comparison. What's absolutely wild is how your environment actively reinforces these mental blocks. Every advertisement you see is engineered to make you feel incomplete without whatever they're selling. Your phone is designed to be addictive, to keep you scrolling and clicking and buying. Even your friends might unconsciously pressure you to spend on experiences and things because that's what the group does. You're essentially trying to build wealth while swimming against a current of psychological manipulation that's been refined over decades. The default path laid out by modern consumer culture is specifically designed to keep you broke. Spend everything you earn, finance what you can't afford, and definitely don't think too hard about compound interest or retirement accounts. That path is smooth and easy and feels completely normal because everyone around you is walking it too. Choosing to invest $200 monthly means stepping off that path. It means making a decision that feels weird and uncomfortable and possibly even judgmental of the people still on it. Most people never make that choice because their brain keeps telling them a story. The story that $200 won't make a real difference. The story that they'll start investing seriously once they make more money. The story that they're too far behind already, so what's the point? And that story, repeated enough times, becomes their financial reality. What happens when you actually challenge that narrative changes everything. Here's the thing nobody mentions about that first $200 investment. Your brain literally rewires itself the moment you transfer the money. You've just done something your psychological operating system wasn't designed for. You delayed gratification in a meaningful way. And suddenly that abstract concept of compound interest stops being theoretical. It's your money now, actually working while you sleep. That psychological shift matters more than the dollars themselves. You've proven to yourself that the default path isn't mandatory. What most people discover around month 3 is legitimately unsettling. That $600 sitting in your investment account becomes weirdly precious in a way your checking account balance never was. Behavioral economists call this the endowment effect. Once you own something, your brain assigns it inflated value. That $600 isn't just money anymore. It represents 3 months of choosing differently. 3 months of ignoring the mental programming that said you couldn't afford it. Your brain starts protecting that investment because it's become part of your identity. But month 6 is where it gets properly strange. You're looking at maybe $1,250 in your account, assuming modest returns. And your brain does something it's never done before. It starts calculating. If I have this much after 6 months, what happens after 6 years? The compounding that seemed fake suddenly clicks into focus. You're not imagining retirement anymore. You're watching a specific number grow in real time. That abstract future version of yourself who benefits from these decisions starts feeling like an actual person worth caring about. The real psychological warfare happens when that first market dip arrives. Your $1,250 drops to $1,100 in a week. Every instinct screams to pull out, to protect what's left. This is loss aversion in its purest form. Your brain is experiencing actual pain watching those numbers decrease. The people who break through this moment do something counterintuitive. They keep investing that $200. They watch themselves buy investments at a discount while their nervous system is having a full meltdown. That's when the mental programming starts actually breaking down. Because here's what nobody tells you about wealth building. It's not about the money. It's about systematically proving to yourself that your instincts about money are wrong. That voice saying you can't afford to invest? Wrong. The feeling that you need to spend money to keep up with everyone else? Wrong. The belief that small amounts don't matter? Catastrophically wrong. Each monthly transfer is evidence against everything your brain has been telling you about scarcity and status and what you deserve to spend money on. People who successfully build wealth aren't operating with different bank accounts. They're operating with different psychological frameworks. They've trained themselves to feel genuine satisfaction from watching numbers grow in investment accounts instead of from buying things that lose value immediately. They've rewired their dopamine response. That's not exaggeration. You're literally changing which activities your brain rewards you for. The difference between retiring broke and retiring wealthy isn't intelligence or income or luck. It's whether you can override your programming consistently enough for compound interest to do what it mathematically must do. Your brain will fight you every single month. It will generate incredibly convincing reasons why this month you should skip the investment, why this month is different, why you deserve to spend that $200 on literally anything else. The only question that actually matters is whether you'll believe it. Oh, that $200 monthly investment isn't going to feel natural. It's going to feel wrong every single time because your entire psychological architecture evolved to prioritize immediate survival, not retirement accounts. But wealth isn't built by people who wait until it feels comfortable. It's built by people who recognize that financial discomfort is actually their brain malfunctioning in an environment it wasn't designed for. The same instincts that kept your ancestors alive are now keeping you broke. Every month you don't invest that $200, you're not staying neutral. You're actively choosing poverty decades from now. That's the part that should genuinely bother you. Not investing isn't the safe choice. It's the riskiest thing you can do with your future. Your brain is lying to you about which decision carries more danger. 40 years from now, you'll be somewhere on the spectrum between completely broke and genuinely wealthy. The only variable that determines which end you land on is whether you could override your programming often enough. Not perfectly, not without struggle, just consistently enough that math could do what math does. That's it. That's the entire difference.